Thank you, Dean Randy. Good morning. I came to the Cathedral virtually during the time of COVID. I had completed an interim pastorate and was looking for a way to worship at home and yet still feel the Spirit and hear the Word, and have a dear friend here who is active with the Cathedral. And so I started tuning in, and my goodness, I was captured early on. The music is extraordinary, and that was the first thing that captured me and moved me. The excellence, the diversity, the breadth of the styles of music was so beautiful. And as we even heard today, the sermons were both powerful and relevant and grounded in the gospel, speaking truth to power and truth to the powerful. And as Nikki Giovanni said, 1 ounce of truth benefits like a ripple on a pond. So it was a beautiful experience in my office at home, and it became a beautiful experience when I came here to the Cathedral once the community opened again and we were back in service. I was struck by a community of people welcoming, warm, and striving to make room for all of us. And Lord, have mercy, how critical that is right now. And so I began to give. I began to give as donations. I was happy to share and write a check here and there. But at some point, the here and there became more than here and there. And my giving that had started as gratuity became commitment. And I moved from my giving as an act of charity to my giving as an act of faith. And I'll end with telling you how that happened. It actually happened by way of the communion experience. As we moved from the ministry of the word to the ministry of the table, every week, I was not accustomed to that, being from a low church tradition, and over time it began to warm my heart to see all of us in all of our diversity, dressed up, dressed down, tall, short, whatever the case is, whoever we are, all coming forward for the bread and the wine. But before we partake in the bread and wine, as we do every Sunday, and we will in just a moment here, we take the offering. And I began to see that as a religious moment, because the last thing that happens after the bread is brought and the wine is brought and the table is provisionally prepared, the last thing that will happen is the ushers will come forward and offer the offering before taking the gifts away. And what occurred to me is that the offering is a part of communion, that the Lord's table is actually not complete until we bring our gifts, that the Lord's table is not set until we bring our gifts. It's a little bit like we'll do in a few weeks at Thanksgiving. The table won't be completed till you bring your contribution to the table. So I began to understand that through our giving, we share in setting the Lord's table. We make provision for ourselves and our siblings. We actually participate in the mystery of the Eucharist. And so our giving becomes not just an act of kindness, but an act of faith. So our end gathering is next Sunday. We're going to invite people to make a commitment for the next duration of time here at the Cathedral. And I just encourage you to join me in thinking of our giving, not just in reference to a tax deduction, but in our actual participation with God at God's table. That the Lord's table is only complete with our gifts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, very much.